very limited auction.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be a Minnesota beer sampler, a wine dinner, and then a wine fridge with $6 of wine, plus choice of color. Auction.
Hey, look, Rochester Public Library is live.
Exciting next one. I just got. Got it. Oh, I'm
Item, but about attending and viewing the meeting. First item, citizens can attend the meeting in person in meeting room C, which is where we are now, first floor of the Rochester Public Library, or continue to view a live stream of the meeting on the library's YouTube channel. A recording of the meeting will be available after on the city website and available on YouTube. At this time, do we have anyone for public comment? Not seeing anything. Make a move to call the meeting to order. And perhaps before roll call, there's 8 of us at the meeting today. Half of us are new. looking at this side of the table. So before roll call, maybe we can have some introductions of the new board members and kind of go around the room. So maybe we'll start with the new members and then around everyone else. But Laurel, can we start with you?
Sure. I'm Laurel Podolsky Smith. I am a recently elected Olmsted County Commissioner representing District 1. And I'm delighted to have been assigned to the library board. I'm very happy to be here. I'm looking forward to listening and learning and being an advocate and a voice for the work that you do here on the county board.
I'm Teresa Wilhelm Walduff, and I'm an author and a business executive. And I have not been engaged in community service for a couple of years. I was involved with saving the Rochester Civic Theater from going under. So I've been wanting to re-engage somehow as I'm getting close to retirement. And so this seemed like a good fit.
Thanks, Lisa.
My name is Melissa Payne. I'm a nurse at Mayo. I'm a mom to a 16-year-old. I'm a pretty avid reader, which is why my interest in the library board came about. We actually just moved to Rochester during the pandemic, so I've been involved in previous communities, but not in the Rochester community.
Hi everyone, this is Angela Good. And then we moved during the pandemic as well, and I'm mother of two. I just want to have the opportunity and honor to be here to serve the community because I have been working for the social innovation for like 10 years, and this is my biggest passion.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Maybe we can start with Holly, introductions from the board.
Sure, I'm Holly Mason. I've been on the board for 1 year. I serve as the executive director for the Rochester Downtown Alliance.
I'm Steve Ball. I've been on the board for a year. I work for Winona State University.
My name is Nick Gitzfrit. I'm from the Iron Range. I'm retired from the University of Guam, of all places. I've been I was a librarian for over 30 years. I have 4 degrees, and 2 of them a master's and a PhD are in library science.
And I'm Adam Myers, current president of the board, been on the board since 2019, and I am operations manager at Mayo Clinic. So, thanks, everyone. So not to do that again, but I think we'll officially go around and call roll. I'll start with Holly again. Holly? Steve? Here. Teresa?
Present.
Adam? Present. So all here, we have quorum, so we can go ahead and call the meeting to order. I think one additional item that I should say too, but we wanted to thank Ravi Saeed for his service over the last, I think it was a full official year, if I'm remembering correctly, but Ravi recently had to step down, as most people know, from the board with welcoming a new one at home. So thanks to Ravi. So let's keep going. So next item, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I would move to approve the agenda.
Thanks, Steve.
Second.
Thanks, Nick. And vote to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion granted. Next item, consensus agenda. Unless anyone has any items to discuss for the consensus agenda, I would move to simply adopt. Any items to discuss? Now I'll move to adopt the consensus agenda. Need a vote to adopt? Can I have a vote to adopt the consensus agenda? Move, sorry. Thanks, Nick. Second? Holly, second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Consensus agenda is adopted. From there, we'll move to president's business. And items today. First item is the report from the foundation, and Brenda is here. So,
Hi, I'm Brenda Carta. Welcome to the new members of the library board. I am the executive director of the foundation. We have an event coming up next Saturday, the 28th. It's our big annual fundraising event. We'll have 2 speakers here, an author, Virginia Ray Peterson, and the teacher of the year for Minnesota, 21-22, is Natalia Benjamin. We'll have a chef demonstration in the auditorium from Chefs SSR, and we will have a very small auction, which people don't have to be present to participate in. So I would love if anybody would share the link in 32 auctions that library.com/wit23. I might have to email that out. But that's our fundraising goals right now. We have some great auction items, and it's going to be a fun evening. It's first time in 2 years that we'll be getting together here at the library to see people who support. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen. Questions or feedback for Karen on the foundation report?
Or Brenda.
Or, sorry, I have Karen on the brain, so you're next to Karen. Sorry, Brenda.
I answered to anything.
All right, thanks again. And next, we have a Friends report. Is Val here for Friends? Yeah. Hey, Val.
Hi, I'm Val Kalashevsky, and I'm the president of the Friends of the Rochester Public Library. And my report for this afternoon is we haven't met since November. So just to let you know that the bookstore made just under $6,000 in the month of November. And they made about $6,000 again in the month of December. And that's even with having those 5 days of closure right around Christmas time. So the bookstore is doing quite well. In early December, we had our gift quality book and bake sale in the auditorium, and we netted just over $6,000 for that as well in fees. And that set a new record for our December sales. We make more in some of our other quarterly sales. And I wanted to thank anybody who may have donated lists to that sale. We had a phenomenal layout. To let you know that currently our bookstore is running a cold weather clearance sale. Everything in store is half price, and that goes through this coming Saturday. And then upcoming events is we have our Friends annual meeting and luncheon on Monday, January 30th. We have 3 retiring members and 3 new board members who will be joining the board. We've revised our bylaws, and so we need to have those approved. And we will have Kim Edson be our special guest speaker at our event. And she will be presenting Respecting the Freedom to Read at Rochester Public Library. And then in mid-February, we have our Winterfest auditorium sale, which is February 10th through the 12th. And the members only preview starts Thursday evening, February 9th, 5 to 7. And that's all I have to report. So do you have any questions for Friends?
Great, thank you, Val. Next item is a CELCO report. I don't believe we have a CELCO representative identified as of yet.
We do not.
Not. So as an additional item, maybe in the roundtable, I'll talk about committee assignments and things for this next year. So I'll get to that soon, but we can skip over that one as well. Chloe is not here tonight for a youth representative report, so we can skip over that as well.
Yeah.
Then move to new business. And Karen, on the new business, we had the Charter Commission meeting that occurred last week.
Yeah, and Holly, feel free to chime in as well, but we both attended the Charter Commission meeting on the 9th. Commission is interested in having another meeting in March to further discuss this topic of making changes to the charter that effectively the 2 changes are moving how I report. Currently, I report to the library board. The library director reports to the library board. The proposed change is to have the head of the library and head of parks report to the city administrator. And then the second change was to have the wards selected by, have board members selected by city council members based on wards. So choosing one for each ward. There didn't seem to be a lot of appetite for that second proposed change, but there does seem to be some strong support from the Charter Commission for the first proposed change. So
what is the expressed rationale for each of these? I mean, I read these and I'm wondering why. I haven't seen anything yet. What is the rationale?
I think that would be a question for Councilman Palmer that proposed the changes. Why? In the initial Charter Commission meeting back in November, he spoke to trying to clean up the charter to make it align with what really happens in regards to the library and parks department heads, which I think we would disagree that it doesn't explicitly explain that that relationship. There definitely is a lot of input from city administration, but I was hired, personnel committee hired me, and
I really haven't received any reasons. I mean, it's okay to propose and have a reason for it, but
yeah. And then I think the second one was having representation by each ward.
That I kind of understand.
And I can understand, and I think we've said, we understand and appreciate having representation from each ward, but also recognizing that there's more to greater representation in a community than just by wards. Parks did report that they've had challenges in the past, sometimes getting applications, and having that ward requirement would be a challenge for them, but also having city council members select their wards could potentially politicize, which we've said as well. And we did talk a lot about having, it's important to have great representation based on diversity, experience, and the ability to serve. The mayor, even in the meeting, said she has loads of applications for the library. I mean, lots of people want, because it's amazing. Thank you all for wanting to work on the library board and applying. But she does get a lot. But it is limiting.
Yeah, under the proposal, you would be reporting to who exactly?
City administrator.
And would that person know what you do here?
We have regular conversations. Is the administrator here day to day? No, but we do have regular conversations. I am part of the city leadership team. Yes.
So you do meet with them regularly?
About once a month.
Okay.
Yeah, once or twice a month. And obviously, knowing that our funding comes through city council and is determined by city council, to add a new staff person would need a city council decision. I mean, part of the role of the library director is being able to work between the city administrator, who's, taking direction from city council, and then also library board, hearing, listening to the community, and bringing back feedback and providing that direction. So.
Okay, I just wanted to.
In a sense, your opinion is you'd rather both things stay the way they are.
I've philosophically, in some ways, would it be easier just reporting to a city administrator? Yeah, and I said it in the meeting, would that be the right thing? Because philosophically, the library board sets direction for the library. There really isn't a lot of fiduciary power and responsibility for the library board, but there is in ensuring that the strategic direction is followed. So, yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I would recommend attending the next Charter Commission if you'd like to share thoughts and perspectives. And there should have been a calendar invite sent. If there hasn't, I will follow up with. It would have come not from me, but from the city attorney's office. Charter Commission is a special commission that is managed not by the city clerk's office, but city attorney's office.
And the next meeting is in March. Is that what you said? The next Charter Commission meeting?
Yes. And we do have somebody from the Charter Commission here.
I'd just say that the next meeting is March 14th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you. Any other?
And I do feel like library board does spend lengthier amounts of time understanding how a library operates and what we do within the library, the value of our strategic plan, our strategic vision. I do think there's more interaction with our board than perhaps not to say that I don't interact with the city administrator, because I do, but yeah, I think there's a little more board involvement and understanding in what libraries do, and how protecting freedom to read is so foundational and important, and the services that we offer and how those align with our strategic priorities. So yeah, the board is much more intimately involved with the strategic plan of the library than the city administrator. That's what I would say.
I agree.
I wouldn't have rambled on there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Karen. And thank you again, Holly, for attending. I officially have
The letter that I read,
Yeah.
so.
I have a house full on antibiotics, so as of last week, so that's why I couldn't attend, but yeah, we are all good, so. Thank you. Well, we look forward then to the March meeting. I guess if anybody that can attend that meeting, it'd be a great plug to be able to go to that, but we'll table that.
And where is that exactly?
It's
Where is
at
it?
104.
In the city hall.
And again, I'll follow up on the
Yeah, I did.
invite.
Appointment of a calendar.
Okay.
Having no old business on the agenda today, I'll skip through that and we can just go right to the director's informational items.
Excellent. So first thing, we did vote by email to approve the officers for next year. So Adam, President, Kristen Robinson, Vice President, Nick agreed to be Secretary for 2023. So thank you. Sending your by email since we decided to have a snowstorm last month. I wanted to share the Friends and Foundation support for 2023 and see if you had any questions about those items. So first up is one of them. Did we include this in the packet? I thought we did. Yes. So our Friends requests providing a lot of support for our programming, which is what Friends Money often does. You'll notice that it is about 2/3 of the amount that was set aside in 2022. Just to step back a little bit, in 2022, we had some leftover money at the end of the year. We have been doing less. I will contend that our programming staff would love extra money, and they could spend a healthy programming budget. But last year we did have fewer programs that we were able to offer. We're slowly starting to come back and bring back those bigger things and more programming things as we add capacity. And but we did adjust the budget for 2023, knowing that we're still coming back and we're not back to full capacity. So other things on there include support for the seed library, our online databases, and items for giveaways like at our marketing events, as well as supplies for the art room and our book group in a bag, bags and our deposit boxes, as well as our software that we use to manage our volunteers. We have lots of volunteers who donate lots of hours. I don't have the total numbers because we're working on the state report right now, but it's very significant, the number of hours that are donated. So it's nice to have a good software program. For our foundation request, we did initially ask for some funding to support social worker to go above and beyond. And there is an amount that is supporting that social service, social worker role. through March, which I'll touch on a little bit later. But for 2023, a lot of it materials. We continue to have really high holds on popular items. So we know that our materials, they're circulating. I can safely say that we will have collection use of over 2 million for 2022, which is significant and very impressive. We're also putting some money aside for some community engagement work with RRC. We're also asking for support for a sprinter van. So our youth services team has been going out to schools and doing a lot of outreach in the community. They've been using the library's only van, which is not ideal. And so this will be a multi-year ask so that we can eventually get this special specific type of van that is very usable for rolling on and off carts, library carts of books, and not just a regular minivan that actually needs to be used for sometimes taking a staff member so they can go to a meeting that's not held in our building because we often don't have spaces for meetings in our building. So that's on there. And then also some marketing money for the book box, which the wrap just got done and it is beautiful and it will be opening in this first quarter. So really want to thank both the Friends and the Foundation for their support because that's a long list of things that wouldn't happen without both our Friends and Foundation. So we're really fortunate for them. So, big applause for them.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great news.
All right, so an update on the social worker. So we are wrapping up the contract with Family Service Rochester. So we started this pilot project at the end of 2021. Money was kind of cobbled together to do this pilot program. We contracted with Family Service Rochester to have a social worker in the library. Really, the point of the pilot project was to see if people would utilize social service resources in the library, and that was successful. Yes, people would access social services. The model wasn't something that was sustainable. We couldn't just add it this amount to our ongoing budget. But we also recognize, and thankfully Foundation also recognized that ending this right in the middle of winter is not a really good idea because people really do need to get connected to resources. And in the winter, it's especially critical in some cases. So the contract with FSR will end March 31st, but we are starting to have conversations with Olmsted County about having some services, some kind of new pilot of how we can have services offered here in the library. Olmsted County staff, like many organizations, are realizing that work can be done outside of their buildings. And so we're excited. I don't have details, but we'll be bringing those to you as we move forward. And just really happy that we've got something. We're so grateful for the social worker that we have in the building through FSR. We've been really fortunate, and we're sad to see that pilot end because it will be a different pilot. Allison was here 0.75 hours. And it was really, I mean, it would be fabulous someday to have somebody here all the time because she really did make a great difference for us, just having her as a resource. So it'll be interesting, though, to see what this new pilot can bring and what we find out, both for ourselves and for the county. So we're really excited to see how it plays out.
Excuse me, what can you tell us about the new pilot? Will it involve the same social worker? Will it involve multiple people, or a different way to offer resources?
Yeah, so we're working, we're really leaning into Olmsted County. This is definitely their space. I think that was another thing we found out in the pilot, that we are, which we knew before, we're not social workers. Social workers are amazing, do amazing things. So it's really going to be what their capacity is to offer as far as what ends up being offered. It might be having somebody who works with housing stability, for example, that might be here for a couple hours a month, or still flushing out what those details are. A lot of it is on the county side as far as what their capacity is. Our big capacity that we have is we have 1,000 people coming in our doors every day. We have all ages. There's no expectation or no stigma attached for folks to come into the building. So we have the space for people to be able to make that connection in the space that we have upstairs, the room that was used by the social worker this year. And then we also have that ability to help promote that resource. So we regularly communicate with our customers what we have available, and that's something that we'll be able to leverage so that we can promote, that somebody that can help with housing, for example, is here on every Tuesday night from, 6 to 8 or whatever that ends up being. So.
And I have a few more questions. If it's all right, if it's not too new or not too informed, I might be asking questions that there are just no answers to yet, but
it's pretty informed, but please ask.
Okay. And, who are you working with the county? Who are you coordinating?
I knew you were going to ask that. Sarah's not here. Don't want to get the name wrong. I think it's Mary O'Neill. No, Mary Eichten.
Okay.
And they may just be the person that's coordinating the meeting.
Mary O'Neill sounds in the ballpark.
Okay.
And what department in particular are you working with?
Jenna Gilbertson and Mary Eichten, and Sarah would know. We're really open-ended, so we've been kind of relying on Olmsted County. Started meeting with Travis first, and then kind of worked our way through some folks. So very informed, though very new.
So is it more what is it, the county is initiating what they have to offer, or what the resources or the staff they can offer?
If there's a particular program that they think would be a good fit here, then they would not embed somebody, but place somebody here for not an extended period of time. It's not embedding a social worker, so it is very different from what we've had this last year. Yeah, but not fleshed out clearly. Very, very early. So we're just glad the door's open and that we're having these conversations, because it's very
and let me know how I can help with those.
Excellent.
With those conversations.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question about the previous pilot? Because I'm very interested about how many people really use the service. Because social workers have different specialties. Some may be mental health oriented, some may be clinical, some may be housing sustainability, something like that. I just want to know.
So this is a GPS social worker. I really wish Sarah or Brian were here because they could speak better to this. But a GPS social worker, so guiding partner solutions. So really getting people connected. It's a connector type social worker, which was great because there's a broad range of needs, I think, in our space. So it varied. I can tell you that the most often presenting barrier, we've learned a lot internally, has been housing. So, yeah. Again, more to come on that. You'll get to hear more throughout the year on this. So. All right. Any other questions? All right. So our next thing I wanted to update is early last year, the board made a decision to kind of formalize the library's temporary hours that we had established through COVID times. And at the time, we said that we would provide an update after a year of at the end of the year. So Just a reminder for folks, pre-pandemic, our hours were hodgepodgey. They were different in the fall and spring than they were in the summer. So basically in the summer, we were only open on the weekends from like 9 to 1:30, and that was it, because the way it may have been shared to me, everybody went to the lake. And so the building, we just weren't open half days on Saturdays and on Sundays. And then pandemic started, and when we were starting to decide when we should be open, knowing we had limited hours, we decided to start with the hours, prioritizing hours where free parking on the weekends, so making sure that Saturdays and Sundays we were open. So we landed eventually on a 7-day schedule. 10 to which are the hours that we have now. So 10 to 8, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 6. And instituted those year round. So not having this changing weird schedule, are you not open question. So not knowing if the hours that we chose were the best, we decided to conduct that survey in late 2021. And also had the Diversity Council host focus group and interviews. And in that survey in late 2021, 34% said Saturday was their preferred day, followed by Sunday as the next preferred day. And then we also asked about the time of day, and 10 to noon was by far the most popular time of day. And then another little bump in the afternoon. You'll see that we had a little more interest in the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. hours versus the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. hours. But in that survey, when we looked at the survey results, for example, from folks earning less than $75,000 a year, or from BIPOC respondents, or from folks in Southeast Rochester, folks that we know that we have a harder time reaching, we saw that there was conflicting, that folks really preferred the evening more. And then when we did have our focus groups, the Diversity Council again hosted the focus group and the interviews, they found that weekends and afternoons and weekday evenings were preferred. And we knew that we really had, we had a finite number of hours. I think there are plenty of folks in town who would say 24 hours, 7 days a week would be great. But that, of course, we did not have that many hours to play with. So we ended up coming out with that schedule, which you approved again in April of 2022, formally saying this is the schedule going forward. And we were really able to absorb the costs. We were a little concerned on what that would look like with our Sunday hours. We do pay premium pay, but that really has worked out. We don't schedule a lot of programs, for example. We don't have a lot of extra staff working Sundays. We have a lot of folks in our weekend rotation who are exempt staff and who do not receive Sunday pay. So we've been able to, continue that. But again, we said that we would come back and report how our usage went. So we've been monitoring usage. And just in a simplified chart, you'll see the darker line, that's the survey responses and how those mapped out, and then for hours of day, and then that lighter line is how it is. So it really mirrored, the usage has really mirrored the time of day and what we saw in the survey. Like it's really mirrored that same time. So this is day of the week. So go back one. When we looked at days of the week, the survey had said, overwhelmingly Saturdays are the day. But when we took all of the usage for the week and did it by percentage of visits for the entire week, so as a percentage, you'll see a little bump on Saturday overall for the entire year, but not this huge spike, which we didn't expect a huge spike, but we did expect to see at least a little bump on Saturdays, because Saturdays tend to be the busiest days. But you do have to remember that on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we only have 8 hours of service. So there's a shorter amount of time that you can have the same, number of people visit. So if that makes sense. Okay. So anyway, the next slide, and I'm sorry that it's small and I'm sorry that it's kind of hard to see. But you'll see there's 3 lines. So overall is for the whole year, just that one like whole year usage line. The green line shows the visits that happened roughly during the school year. So if you just look at the years that we used to be open all the time, so the fall and spring, for lack of better description. But the orange line is the summer. So I really wanted to simplify this. I'm sorry if I'm making it more complex, but you'll see that in the summer months, the Saturday and Sunday usage is down just a little bit. It doesn't align with the rest of the year. And all of that to say that we will be marketing the Sunday hours more this year, thanks to some of that foundation money. We'll be doing an ad campaign so that we can push those Saturday, Sunday hours, because it still needs to, we still need to get the word out there that we're open. Seeing this in line form, in numbers, really stress that that we have a lot of work to do as far as folks unlearning that the library is closed on Sundays in the summer and half of Saturday. So our next steps, again, just to promote, we're going to promote these this year and make sure that we really heavily promote the 7-day schedule and highlight that, when you're here on Saturdays and Sundays, you don't have to pay for the ramp, which is often feedback that we get from visitors, that it's really hard to use the library, if I want to spend time there for a long time. And
Question.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what if there's an event going on at the Civic Center and people come for that? How do you differentiate for the parking, paying for parking, being in the library versus that?
So on Saturdays or on the weekends, nobody pays, even if it's an event. Yes, yeah. Saturday, parking is always free after 4:01. You get, if you enter the ramp at 4:01, you won't have to pay for parking. That's life hack. For all of us who, when we first started working here, the parking lot for staff is across the bridge until you've been here about 5 years, and then you learn that life hack early. And the first hour, of course, is free if you can get in and out, but that's often a challenge. So we do like to spread that word that, you get into the ramp at 4:01, then you can be here until we close. And then on the weekends, it's totally free. Now, when you were asking about events, sometimes that is challenging for folks if it can get really busy on a Saturday in the ramp when there's something happening across the street. But oftentimes I think we find, those folks will do their event and then, may come over here in between the dance performance or the, next wrestling match. So we do still see that traffic that comes here and makes it here.
There was a bar graph a few slides back, and I saw it when I was going through the report that was sent out. Yeah, okay. And I can't see that bottom one, the very small one. It's what is it? What are the hours? It's the last 2 hours of the
8 p.m. to 10.
It's only like 1 point something. Now, is that an average of the whole week or?
Oh, so
I was just surprised.
Survey results. So these were the survey results from late 2021, what people said they preferred.
Oh,
yes.
So we don't really know if that's going to pan out in terms of people that actually show up.
Well, we're not open 8 to 10 p.m. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We said if that few number, knowing that we have limited hours, then we probably won't stay open until.
Okay.
There are more people like me that like to be in the house by 8 o'clock. So any other questions? I will contend, for our new board members, I'm really proud of our library for being open on Sundays and being open all day on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think it's significant. We are the only library open 8 hours on a Sunday in the state of Minnesota. I think that's really significant. So
Thank you for doing that, because for me, I moved during pandemic. I didn't know there are so many changes happened within those 2 years. The only time I came here is with my kids, is a weekend time. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the update and
Yeah.
everybody for the work.
And the next thing is, well, yeah, so I just wanted to give just kind of this high-level overview of, I've mentioned this a couple times at some of our board meetings about the conversations that we've had at the administrative level. So for our new board members, I am new. I'm going to say that at least for 3 years, but I haven't even completed my first year. So there have been a lot of changes that have happened. And we've all of us have gone through this horrible couple of years, coming out of the pandemic and refiguring things out. So we've been having a lot of discussions at our administrative team level about what it is that we do and what we do really well. Obviously, we have the strategic plan that was adopted in January of 2020 that guides our work and has set the direction and the tone for what we do. We didn't get a lot of visioning time in 2020 right after the strategic plan was adopted, obviously, because we were being very reactive and spent much of 2020 and 2021 just being reactive. And so we're now getting more to that feeling of being visionary and utilizing the strategic plan. We also utilize the city's strategic plan, which is also new, and we've been, working on incorporating the strategic vision of the city into our work and what we're doing. But through that time, we've had some challenges. You have in the packet or not? Go on. Keep going. Go on. I rely on pictures. So through 2022, we did have a lot of challenges. Again, new leadership, just implementation of that 7-day schedule. We had high turnover with lots of longtime employees leaving, including the director with 25 years of experience. And we had some other significant longtime employees that retired as well. And then we had the 2 frozen FTEs last year. That was really challenging, as well as some new initiatives, the 1,000 Chromebook checkout program, other initiatives that were happening too, and then just kind of rebounding from COVID as well. And so that was challenging for us at the administrative level with, these fewer resources and different challenges. And how do we prioritize the things that we are doing? We know that we can't be all to everything, which is hard because I think in libraries just have this heart for saying yes to everything because we want everybody to get what they're looking for. So we started having more discussions about core competencies at the administrative level. In business, obviously, core competencies, it's kind of what gives you that edge, what makes you competitive against, your competitors. And we had lots of conversations. It really kind of grounded some of our conversations at the administrative level and helped us talk a lot through the knowledge, the skills, and the services that we do so well that others aren't doing in the community. What differentiates us from, other organizations in the community, other city services in the community, businesses in the community? What makes us special? What are the things that we just do really, really well? And so we have drafted 4 core competencies, and I will say it was really inspiring and heartwarming that we came together as a leadership team fairly quickly on these 4 things that we do really, really well. Information services, access and inclusion, collection, development and maintenance, and literacy building. These are the things that it sets us apart from other organizations. And so we've been working with staff. We present these to the entire library team to get feedback on what it is these mean? Do these represent everything that staff are doing on a day-to-day basis? And so we're kind of refining the language, and we'll be sending out a final document with our explanation of and definitions of what these mean. And then we'll also be meeting in the next week and a half to talk more about how we're going to use these core competencies when we're making decisions. Because we get requests from community groups or from community organizations or folks who really want to partner with us and do things with us, which is great. And we have limited space and limited staff to be able to do all of the things. So this will hopefully help us to be a little bit better as an organization, consistently, prioritizing things in the right order, because we all just want to do great things and provide all of the services that we can. But again, we are limited in what we do. So you're going to see this reflected in our action plans that come forward in the next either February or March. So hopefully you'll see this reflected in other things that we do as well. But any questions on those core competencies? Do they make sense to you?
My question and comments, because my organization by themselves is a similar position option. I think this is a really, really important exercise, and whatever you can do to get it on the website, make it clear so that when everyone is well intentioned, there are great partners out there, but just knowing where you want to focus your energy is going to help your staff say no. So I think this is great.
Thank you. Any other questions?
My one question would be, are they core competencies or are they monitoring competencies?
They're the things that we do really well, that we're really competent at, that that you should expect to get from our organization. But it works in tandem with our vision, with our strategic plan and mission. Yeah.
You'd be good at it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So then it may not be on the same page.
So you're asking maybe synonym core services, core priorities, something like that. Other competencies. Is that what you're asking?
Potentially, yeah.
Or as this relates or is dovetailed against your strategic plan? And what's important to the library? I mean, I found it quite clear on sort of what's good for what the library members are good at and providing those services, but agree that, people looking at it from the outside may be some questions about competency versus guiding principle.
We need some good descriptive language. We like words.
Yeah, you need now a global.
Yeah.
Access, including.
Yeah, and that really is, and again, where they're in draft form, where I would have shared all of the descriptions, but it's really about providing access to information and resources through an inclusive environment that's welcoming to all, particularly to people who are underrepresented, under-resourced, or otherwise disenfranchised. There are some other words with that too, but yeah.
Other questions for Karen? Karen, thank you so much.
All right.
The next item, questions / roundtable. I was open up to the group. Any questions or items for the library board? I have two more roundtable items, more from my perspective. One, as Karen mentioned, she's coming up on 1 year in the position. So previously, the library director's annual evaluation was totally collected by the personnel committee of the board. We've shifted that with city administration to try to get more on board with what city administration is doing for all the leadership positions. So hopefully most everybody that's been on the board prior to today has received an email from city administration just to collect some feedback. If you haven't provided feedback yet, just another plug to do that as we move forward. I don't remember officially the date of the finalization of that, but it sounded like February, March, we'd be looking at
Early February, so it's ready for the February board meeting.
Sure, bring it back to the February meeting. And only other item I had with all the new board members and the start of 2023 is really just looking at the representation for Selco, as I mentioned previously, but also just 2023 committee assignments. So typically this is the time of the year that we'd look at those and who has interests and would like to be included in certain things. So I've asked Karen and the administrative team to send out an email soon just to gauge everyone's interests, and then I'll collate those and kind of sort my interests and bring back for the next meeting as well.
And Selco board meetings are Tuesday.
I believe so. Who is our resident expert on Selco?
I have to go back and check that email. I want to say it is.
Pretty sure.
Include that in the email that we send. If
Yeah,
again,
I can do that.
Selco information.
Hopefully somebody has their
5:30.
On Tuesdays? One Tuesday, not every Tuesday, Tuesday a month. And Selco, just to clarify, that Southeastern Libraries Cooperating, that's the regional library system in Southeast Minnesota representing 11 counties. So making decisions and providing input for an 11 county region. So we're part of Selco. Yeah, we share. We also have some really great innovative sharing that we do with Selco digitally. We're the first, if not first, to share digital collections, which is huge. Our Overdrive Libby, if you are familiar with that. Having that agreement with Selco is really fantastic, and Kim's work. Yeah, they support library functions. So our library app is funded through dollars that go through Selco. So, and other financial support. So it's a great organization.
If there's no other questions or feedback, I'd make a call to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. All right. And a vote.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And welcome again, everybody on this.
Yeah.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And welcome again, everybody on this.
Yeah.